Hey! Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another Ages of Mayhem stream. Today we're talking about Scheherazade, and today we also happen to have a very special guest.
Hey, guys!
Yeah, the first voice actor to actually, be here in person. Yeah. What was the reason that you came? Was it just to be on this stream, or?
Well, I think it was to be on the stream, but I think it was really important for me as a voice actor to go to see live in first person what the team is like and how much goes into these games. 1 minute of cinematics, and you've got hundreds and hundreds of people and hundreds of man hours. And I think as an actor and playing this role, it really informs a lot for me.
Yeah.
For us as voiceover artists, we are the last to see the visuals. So you're in the booth kind of blind, and you've got amazing writers and amazing directors around you guiding you to the character. But to actually be here live and to see, everybody involved was really important to me. So I made the trek out here, live stream, and then I think I'm gonna hang out and party with the Volition crew.
Oh, man.
Because they're awesome. This building is full of the craziest, zaniest, genius people you've ever met. So it's a lot of fun. Having a lot of fun.
And we already have people on the stream pointing out your nail polish, by the way.
You guys, I went totally purple. Purple. I tried to get the nail techs to put the little AOM decal on my nail, but they couldn't freehand it. So I've got purple eyeshadow. I've got purple nails. My toes are purple. You can't see them. But it's I'm representing here, guys, in a big way.
Yeah. Welcome everybody to one of the last AOM streams we're doing. We're getting super close to the end here with the launch of the game.
Very close.
And I would love to, before you continue, I want to give a shout out to Flippy, Mega Freeman, and Thunder045, the early chat crew who have been on since the dawn of time. You guys are the diehards, and we love you, so we're giving a little shout out to you today.
Every time I'm setting up the stream earlier in the day, I always just see them there. I'm guessing they probably just leave the tab open and don't turn the computer off ever. Yeah. So man, that's dedication.
I'm glad you're here.
I hope I don't scare them every time where the audio just starts blaring. They don't know what tab it's coming from. Oh man. Yeah, welcome everybody.
Yes.
I'm Josh Stinson, the video editor here at Volition, as well as the stream host. And today on the couch we've got
me. I'm Sharon Muthu. I was like, where's he pointing? Me. Sharon Muthu, Agent Scheherazade at your service.
I'm Ryan McCabe, lead agent designer.
Jeff Bielawski, writer.
Luis Rios, technical animator.
And I guess we should just start talking about Scheherazade here. First, we're going to be taking a look at pre-production art and all the stuff that kind of went into making Scheherazade. And we'll be chatting with you for a while after that.
Love it.
Probably chatting with you the whole time.
Can't wait.
I guess. And then we'll actually jump into the game and see how Scheherazade plays and all that. And then for people to stick around all the way to the end, we have a couple of bugs with Scheherazade. Only 2, but they're really high quality, so you want to stay around.
High quality bugs.
High quality bugs.
That's all that matters.
The bugs I wish we could put a stamp on and just say this is a feature. Those types of bugs.
Those
are my favorite.
Those are the best ones.
We've kept a few.
We did. Oh, that reminds me, very, very briefly, there was a bug we showed, I believe it was last week, with the Legion layers where NPCs would just walk and just fall all the way down the elevator shaft. Apparently some NPCs will still do that because apparently it was too funny.
Yep.
I didn't know that.
Excellent.
Oh, man. It's great. But let's take a look at some concept art stuff here for Scheherazade. All of her designs are pretty rad, but where did she start off from? When she was first created, was she just another post-it note idea?
It was a post-it note idea. We wanted a different take on. Obviously, kind of looking at AOM as being that sort of more adult-oriented G.I. Joe sort of thing. We wanted our Snake Eyes characters, so we were we want a different take on a ninja. We're what can we do with it? And we thought, let's do something that just hasn't been done before. Let's do something Middle Eastern. And we started looking at that, and we were let's go with, what about a burqa? So someone in a burqa. We're that could be very interesting. And that's kind of where she was born from. But then you also because of that, we're you get this air of mystery about her. What's her backstory? Well, that's the point. No one knows.
Right.
Or, depending on which story she tells you that minute. So, very mysterious, but also, just trying to go with something very different for that whole ninja feel character.
Yeah.
I'm curious, when you're writing a character that the whole point of them is that they're very mysterious, their backstory is unknown, does that make them easier to write or harder?
A little of both. It can be easier because it's, especially in her case, because she will tell you a different story. She has many different
Right.
ones you will hear throughout the game. So
Oh,
that's
yeah.
kind of like, what did I feel like writing today? Okay, that's her story today. And then maybe the next day I'll be like, oh, I got another idea. Let's put that one in there too instead of changing it. But at the same time, then when you're like, okay, how does this all actually tie together for the character? That gets a little bit more convoluted.
Okay.
So we tend to, for a while, keep her a mystery even to ourselves. Basically, it sounds like, okay, we don't do work. We don't figure it out. But some people have ideas, and we'll just kind of keep it a mystery amongst ourselves, I guess is a better way to put it.
Right.
Until we actually sit down and like, oh, what ideas did you actually have for this? And then we'll hash out the character from there and figure out what's the truth behind the entire mystery.
Okay.
Which came about pretty late for this character, actually.
Really?
Yeah, it was a while before we actually figured out exactly where we think this is going.
All right. Yeah, this is something pretty early on as well. I remember seeing this. I don't think it made it in game, like in the console commands or anything, but I do remember like really early on hearing like, referring to her as Sandstorm stuff a couple of times.
That and I love how Scheherazade is also spelled wrong.
They
But how do you actually spell Scheherazade?
Believe me,
be
spelling
fair,
Scheherazade is...
Yeah, like I knew that name beforehand and I read it a bunch of times, but like until I started working in this game, I was not able to spell
It's a
that thing
tricky
well.
one.
It's also the typing of it. It's just, because you got the SCHEHE, and that's
Yeah.
the double HE that tends to get people.
Yeah, it's
And two E's at the beginning and two A's.
whenever I spell it, like I have to be like, like a 6-year-old learning how to spell like peanut butter or something. Just go like Scheherazade.
Yeah.
That's how I type it out now. Looks like we may have some kind of question here. We have a chat from Elrose in the chat asking, is Scheherazade still Iranian?
Yes,
Yeah.
maybe.
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 It is kind of intended to be a little bit of a mystery of where she's from.
Okay. Yeah, I like when characters were first getting put in the game, like Scheherazade was one of the ones I was probably the most drawn towards, just because I thought it was a really interesting combination of different cultures, I suppose. And also, I mean, we'll get to it later, but the animations for her are probably my favorite in the game.
Oh, they're
She's
so good.
Yeah, it's man.
Can we go back one?
Yeah.
Awesome. So something to point out in a lot of these is she actually has a gun weapon, which was very early concept for her. The idea of using a ranged kind of SMG and then switching to swords was something very early with her. And we went a pretty different direction from every other agent that's in the game with her ultimately, which you guys will get to see. But looking at the different concept art here is kind of cool, seeing how we envisioned her at first, and then you'll be able to see how we've changed her.
Right. Yeah, I remember she went through some changes even after she was in the game that like made her play pretty differently after a while. The melee especially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, gameplay-wise, these are getting closer gameplay-wise to what she is in the game now.
Yeah.
She got the throwing knives,
So with her that question slipped right out of my head. That's the worst. So with Scheherazade, she went through a bunch of these designs. There isn't that much concept art of her actual final design from when I was digging around for this stuff. Did her design come in like with Scheherazade? Was she like one of the last agents to be like, finished? I suppose, like figuring out what she really is.
Not really last to come along from a gameplay perspective, but she was pretty late.
Okay.
because we knew we wanted to do something different with her to kind of match her unique personality and her mysteriousness. So we wanted to wrap that into her gameplay quite a bit if we were able to. And our thought was, well, everybody else uses, ballistic weaponry, ranged weaponry of some kind. What does a full-on melee character look like in Agents of Mayhem was the question that we decided we wanted to answer when we started developing her. And, trying to go from what you saw earlier with, everybody had to have a ranged weapon and then would have some sort of melee attack,
Right.
to her where the melee attack is her primary, and the ranged weapon that she has, her throwing knives, are like a secondary kind of attack for her. What did that look like? And we went through some iteration with her, but the initial stab of, well, can we do this and how can we do this, actually worked pretty well. And we got to just iterate on that quite a bit to get to the point where we are now.
Yeah, I mean, I love every single one of these designs, but like the one she has, I am like in love with because it's. Man, I forgot about that one. Okay, that one's pretty sweet too. Wait, were there any actual plans of like having her have some kind of like whip like this in game?
Gameplay wise?
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
It was just a really cool
It looks
one.
awesome.
It just
though.
looks rad. Yeah, this is one, like I've seen a lot of the concept art, but I had never seen this one before. So like when I found this one, I was like, oh my god, is she gonna have like a chain whip at some point or something? But yeah, with her final design, which this is getting a little closer to, it was this really cool, again, combination of cultures that I feel like I haven't really seen design elements from both like a ninja thing and, kind of like taking the burkas and like putting those together. I feel like I haven't really seen that type of combination anywhere. And that's probably like, I've sent a lot of agents are like ones I really like, but Scheherazad's like number one for me. Like we're finally at that stream, it's like, oh, here's my favorite agent.
Yep.
That's my girl.
That's what I keep telling people. They're like, who's your favorite agent? Whenever I'm talking to anyone, I'm like, Scheherazade. I can't talk about her too much yet.
Yeah, that's the.
But now I can, so this is awesome.
Finally. And yeah, we had some
There she is.
actual renders. Her final thing here, which I just really like. It's especially like the pants. I know there's a word for how those like kind of come out on the side, but I can't. I'm not a clothing person.
I have no.
Yeah, but it's and you can't really see it here, but like in game too, like the materials on the patterns in some parts are really interesting and how they like reflect like light and stuff. Yeah, we have some concept art here for her 2D intro, which we'll take a look at a clip of it shortly. Scheherazade's, I feel, was an intro I saw really early on, like almost finished. Does anybody know like when that was? Like, I feel like even when we were
It was an early one, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel that was one of the first I saw that was like completely finished, and that was back when we were still like in not prototypes,
No,
but
it
super
was-
early pre-alpha stuff.
I think the three earliest ones were Fortune, Rama, and Scheherazade.
Okay, yeah, I think you're right because I remember seeing
And
Rama's
Hollywood
like,
was kind of in there too.
and Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing Rama's really early on too, along with hers. Yeah, hers is. Were you?
I love that shot.
Yeah,
So
it's
good.
Yeah.
It's the shot.
one of
It's
my
not.
favorites.
It's not in the clip, but that
That's
shot.
the moon behind her.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
got this
it's
really
gorgeous.
cool
That
background.
shot is. It also has like some of my like out of all of our intros, some of the like best, most fluid animation like out of any of them. Just that just like really suits what she does, I suppose. But yeah, I suppose let's briefly take a look at a. Unfortunately, again, this shot isn't in the clip I picked. Sorry, you just gotta wait till the game's out. But yeah, let's take a look at a short clip.
They say that every woman has a story. I have millions. The problem is knowing which ones to tell. My past is no less shrouded than my face.
Yeah, it's again, you were talking about how she has many different backstories, and her intro totally reflects that. Did you get to see that intro when you were like first doing the voice acting and stuff for her?
I did, and that's how I know. You're correct in thinking that she was one of the earlier, of the 2D intros. For me, that was the moment when I really connected to her. As I said to you, we're so isolated there, and so you're kind of in the booth, and half the time you don't even know what game you're in or what your character's name is. Everything's all like stealthy and and heavily covered by NDAs, and so when you're, I went into that initial session and I saw some of the early concept art, whatever was, present at the time, and they guided me into her being the teller of 1,000 tales and her being extremely mysterious, and she kind of started off just in that really mysterious, secretive, very tough, very focused place. And then some months had gone by between that and then my next session. And when I came in, the very first thing, Jeff and Larry Gates were there. They were like, "Oh my God, do you want to see, your character's intro?" And I was like, yes. So they, of course, put it on this enormous screen, and I was like a kid. I flashed into my childhood, and my jaw was on the floor, and it had been a long enough amount of time that I couldn't really remember what lines are given, because most people don't realize when you're doing video game, you're not given the script ahead of time. No. You're in the room cold reading, so you got to take direction quickly and have great cold reading skills, and you've got the writer and the director there guiding you, into everything. But that was the day that my heart exploded for Scheherazade. It was so beautiful, and seeing the way she moved, that fluidity in her movement, and kind of her amazing parkour-y, jumps and twists and flips, and she's a badass with the blade, and I was so in love with her, and that was when the moment really landed for me, like when I connected to her on a much deeper level, and then could finally, as an actor, start to flush the character out, you know.
Have you voiced any other characters like Scheherazade? Do you get pulled in for like the mysterious?
There's nobody like Shaherezad. For me as an actor, have I played other power females? Sure, absolutely. I do a lot of video game and a lot of animation, and with this crazy man voice I have, I don't tend to play the sweet submissive girls. I'm always playing these tough characters, but there truly is no one like Scheherazade for me. And I've gotten to evolve the character as the writing started to change, and as Jeff was saying, as they started to figure out who she was and start to guide me in certain other directions, the truth of her started to shift for me. So I've never played anyone like her. Mm-hmm. She's 5 people can ask her backstory, and nobody knows. She can give you a different tale. I think Persephone's the only one that knows my real story. Mm-hmm. So I find her elusiveness extremely intriguing, and it was really fun to play as an actor. So
nice. Yeah. Here we go. Some actual.
Speaking of your blades.
There we go, my children, darlings.
I love the design on that thing. It's incredible looking.
Yeah, there's some other concept art that I had to cut for time, but it was just like all the different like sword designs people were going through, trying to land what she's gonna have. I feel like the final one is very simple, but like it totally works for that, because like some of them were very elaborate and a little more like something you'd pick out of a chest in Final Fantasy, maybe.
All right, here's my sword.
Yeah, got some key art here, some final stuff for Scheherazade.
Oh, there's the picture.
Yeah, there it is.
There it is. Oh,
yeah.
Such a great shot.
Yeah, it's like every shot for her intro is really cool, but that moonshot is... The moonshot's good enough that it could be like your computer wallpaper for a while. I should actually probably do that. That'd be really easy. And yeah, on the right, we also have like the art that appears for her personal missions, her unlocking her personal mission afterwards.
I love that title, by the way.
Yeah.
Which one?
Worlds within worlds. Within other worlds.
Multiple Dimensions of the Ninja is my favorite 80s movie. It's really great because it's one of those movies where the bad guy blows up and the frame he blows up, it just says the end.
The end.
Yeah. There's no follow-up. You don't need anything. It's credits. Scheherazade is my favorite agent. And
she's the best. I'm sorry. There's.
Whoever you think's
Nope.
the best, you're wrong. It's, I'll fight you.
So Fortune was the first agent that I got to design and put into game.
Yeah.
And my online handle everywhere is Pirate Pones Ninja.
Uh-huh.
So you would think, well, obviously Fortune is going to be your favorite. She was the first agent you got to make and whatnot. But when I got to Scheherazade and was like, okay, let's figure out what we're doing, and it was she's. I can't wait until you guys get to actually see her in action here in a few minutes, because she just tears everything up.
Every time I'm trying to think of okay, what are the 3 agents I want in my team at all times? It keeps changing, except Scheherazade is always the one that remains. It's Scheherazade, 2 other agents.
Yeah, like I was saying last week, a lot of time when I would just drop into the game and to do some kind of word capture or something, a lot of time I'd be playing Daisy, because for some reason the game just kept put Daisy in my squad. I was fine by me, but Scheherazade's the one that I actively try and type in commands and just switch to her, because it's also just when you see the gameplay, she's probably the most fun to navigate the city with, just because of her animations. Yeah, that's some pre-production stuff. I believe that's everything. Yeah, that's the pre-production stuff we got.
Awesome.
And I guess we'll go, since there's no Skype to cut to. Just,
Cut to me on the couch,
just
hanging out of Volition.
blow us up here. So when you're doing the voice acting for Scheherazade, is there a experiences in the past you're drawing from to pull out that kind of voice, or is it just something you...
you know what? I just think that I'm connected to her from my gut. You know what I mean? And I feel like there's a certain stance I go into when I'm in the room in front of the microphone. I love the idea that she's a master of the blade, and so you'll often find me in the booth moving my arms around like I'm slaying people and cutting heads off and stuff. But you also have to be really careful because the microphones are so unbelievably sensitive. So, there were a couple moments where Amanda, our amazing director, was like, calm down in there with your combat, we got to do that one more time, But I feel like that, for me, that's it, is as soon as I can connect her to my body, because she already kind of exists in my core. I love who she is. I love how she's evolved. And so when I add action to it for my own self, then I feel like she's a complete person, and I can really get the voice to go, with the body. So,
Have you ever accidentally caught yourself just swinging knives around at home now or anything?
you guys, this is really embarrassing, but. So what happened? You lived with the character for 2.5 years,
right.
and the line between your fiction and your reality starts to blur a little. And so I have somehow in the last 2.5 years convinced myself that I am the master of knife and sword, and there's this crazy fusion going on between me and Scheherazade. So I've been joking about this all day, but I do. I know, when you're at home and you're just kind of talking to yourself, it comes out in Scheherazade's voice sometimes. I have to do the dishes. Where is the laundry? And I'll be in the kitchen and chopping produce, and when I'm done, I'm like, well done, children, because Scheherazade, her blades are her babies, so she talks to them like they're her babies, and I find myself talking to my knives too. But the truth is, I cut myself once a week chopping tomatoes. So clearly this is not a typecast moment, but in my mind it is. In my mind, her and I are one. So absolutely. She's telling you a story. Somebody just said, Megan Freeman just said, Scheherazade is telling us a story. Indeed. I have thousands. Ask me again. I'll tell you a different one this time.
Oh, man. Oh, it looks like we actually have a question from here. Oh, wait. No, Mike was asking me to ask you literally what I already just asked you.
Oh, yeah.
I got you, Mike.
Yeah. No, everybody thinks I'm crazy because I chatter quietly under my breath in her voice. My inner monologue kind of sounds like her sometimes. So. I'm just curious, what other characters have you voiced for games? I've done, I was in Diablo 3, I was in Hitman Absolution, playing a bunch of incidental roles in Diablo 3. I was also Karina.
Okay.
I did, so, you know, if you've played it, you've saved me from a Spider Queen. Just another day at the office, you know, hanging out and getting captured by giant spiders. I continue to be part of the Elder Scrolls Online team, so that's really fun. And then I do a lot of animation also, so, you know, when Johnny Bravo went to Bollywood, I went too. When I was Lieutenant Moulter in the Buffy the Vampire Slayer webisodes. And
yeah.
I'm actually a series regular on an animated series now, which I can't tell you about. Because, you know, we sign our lives away in these NDAs, you know. And
The NDA is a serious
and
business.
you're like, it's like 100 years before you can talk about it. This one was hard,
Long
you guys.
time,
I was
I know.
chomping at the bit to talk about this game because I think everybody has been, all of us behind the scenes have been so excited about it. And every time you go in the booth, 15 million new things have happened since the last time you were in the booth, and it was just like snowballing. And so to finally be able to talk about it is like the greatest release ever. But
Right.
but yeah, I tell you, I mean, I do on camera as well. And so I'm fortunate enough to straddle both the worlds. I have a heavy TV resume as well. But I tell you, you know, at the risk of giving it all away, my heart, like my passion is in voiceover because I feel like both are difficult for different reasons.
Right.
But when you're on camera, for example, right, you do have to look a certain way. They have to be writing for your part, and then you have to, you know, be a certain height, a certain weight, a certain look, you know, whatever it is. And you get on set, and you're surrounded by all this exterior stuff that plays a huge part of your role. But when you're doing voiceover, it's almost like the acting and the storytelling gets distilled. It's pure. Like you are not affected by anything exterior. It's literally you in a booth in front of a microphone, and you have to, because nothing in VO is more important than the story. Nothing happens without the story. So you go in the booth and I feel like you focus differently and you get connected to the heart of the character, and all you're trying to do is figure out where in this universe do I exist, and what is my mission, what is my goal, and then you just tell the story. And so for me, even though I love doing both, I feel like there's a special passion for me in animation and video game because the worlds can be anything. I mean, as fantastical and fabulous and off the wall as you want them to be, and it's like acting distilled. That's like the best way I can describe it. And so there's like a purity there that thrills me to no end. And certainly, you know, I felt that way every time I was in front of the mic with this girl, this crazy lady. So yeah.
How long have you been doing the voice acting stuff for?
You know, I not too long. I think I joined the race here in 2009 when I kind of signed with my first agent. You know, I grew up surrounded by, my sort of special gift is dialects and character voice. I play children, I can pitch up, you know, I sing, and so I feel like I've always been really connected to my voice and could easily pick up dialects, you know, just by hearing them or interesting character voices and things.
Right.
And I knew it was always something I wanted to do. But then it was around 2009, 2010 when I was like, you know what, this is silly. You know, if I'm gonna take the plunge, let's take the plunge. And I went hard, and I feel like the first agent I got kind of took me with no credits, just on the basis that I could manipulate my voice so many ways, which becomes extraordinarily handy in animation and video game, you know, because a lot of us do play a lot of the incidental roles in the game as well, or if there's like a small guest role or whatever, if you can manipulate, it's wonderful for production to get many characters in one person. And then, yeah, I just sort of gradually worked my way through, and here we are. It's been a good ride.
You mentioned like the small like incidental roles and stuff. Did you voice? Because I know like voice actors can voice up to 3 characters.
Up to 3 characters,
Did
right?
you voice any other smaller roles in the game?
In this game?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Just my one and only, Sherry, as I call her. Me and Sherry. It's all me and Sherry.
We actually did get a question earlier in the chat too. How did you decide to go with the name Scheherazade for her?
Oh, it's all about the tales.
Yeah.
It's all about the different stories that she'll tell. And it actually probably, I'm trying to think who exactly came up with it, but as soon as we started going over that whole mystery, she always tells a different story and everything. Everyone's like, "Oh, this name is pretty much picking itself."
Right.
So, you know,
Right.
1001 Arabian Nights, Scheherazade. There
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just been, and because of having that name, it's like it keeps you on task with how you write that character and how you have to keep that mystery and tell a different story every time.
Right.
Just like every time, like, who are you writing for? Oh yeah, writing for her. Okay, I know what I'm doing. Good.
Well, she's so wonderfully weird, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she's
And
weird.
it some of her lines in the game, I'm just playing and like listening to some of her idle dialogue and whatnot, and it is so wonderfully strange, right?
Yep.
And I can only imagine what you guys were thinking. Well,
The
were
idle
not
dialogue
thinking,
is
or
weird.
whatever you guys were doing while you guys were writing those kinds of things.
And the idle dialogue is where you'll hear a lot of the different, her talking a little bit about her background, or that story about her background. Then you'll hear the next one, and it'll be completely different. If you have no context, you'll think we just have lost our minds over here.
Yeah, there's one. Who knows if it'll play when we're like messing around in the game. But I do really enjoy the one that where Scheherazad's having a conversation with Fortune, and it's like she just gives off like this really vague sounding story. They have no idea if it's real or not, just because she's like accusing Fortune of stealing something of hers. No, right? No, it was something.
Wait,
Do you remember what it was
no,
exactly?
I can't remember.
It was just like
No,
Fortune.
Rama was accusing of stealing, I think. I don't know. People accuse Fortune of stealing. I can't imagine.
Why would they do that?
Why would they do that? She's so nice. She's not a thief at all. Yeah.
Oh man.
We had another important question. Can you do the boon dance?
I have never physically done the boon dance.
Okay.
I feel like I would have to ask me next stream maybe. After I take a
all
look at
heard it here.
after I take a look at some
He's
reference
got to do the boon
videos.
He
dance
needs to
next week. Make sure y'all
practice.
remind him
He
He
next
needs to
week.
practice.
Ah, God. Well, my
Well,
fate is sealed.
you know, glamming onto what Jeff was just talking about, I think another thing that's interesting about Scheherazade that you don't realize off the cuff, because you know that she's very mysterious and she's a badass, when she's in her gameplay and on the field, but she's actually, what evolved for us in the booth, kind of very cohesively, was that there's a lot of humor to her as well,
Yes.
which might surprise people, and that kind of evolved over time, where I started to feel Jeff and the amazing writing team writing to that dry, sarcastic, glib kind of off the cuff in the little in between dialogue, and that's really fun. I love that she is very serious and is very badass, but is also really funny and loves to hear herself talk. Loves it.
And without
That part
giving
was typecast.
giving like too much away, her agent missions go into more kind of the AOM lore and like world and universe and kind of the things that are going on there. So when you start to hear, like after you get that context and start to hear her talking, right, you start to wonder like, well, which bits of this are actual truth as to what is happening or what she has taken part of and what has gone on.
Which is, yep, again, all that intentional, trying to keep everyone guessing.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. And
I
there's
respect
something
that.
that someone, I forget who it was, picked up on in the little clip that you showed.
Yeah.
The pendant she had, how it kind of magnetically went somewhere.
Right.
And somebody else said, "Oh, it's magic." Little column A, little column B. You never know. It's, and again, another one of those little mysteries that all ties into the bigger lore that some of the characters are more aware of than others.
I'm just imagining now how like hard it's going to be for somebody to organize her wiki article.
Oh my God.
Good luck,
Right?
whoever that is.
Maybe just a separate entry for like every different like story or like backstory for her or something. I don't know.
It's just gonna be a different wiki link every
Yeah.
time.
That's fun. Every time you click, it's changed.
You never
It
know.
takes you to another agent's page every time you try to go to her page.
Oh man. With that, should we just like go see what she's like in the game?
Let's do it.
Yeah. We'll just
Fun. There's the answer. Done. Okay.
we'll just hop in here. Keep sending us questions, everybody in the chat.
Yeah.
Spoiler, she's actually hardtack.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
We had a
I will
How are they
tell,
in the
I will
same
tell you guys
squad?
a story, actually.
we had a running joke that if she would have taken her mask off, it would be Persephone every time.
Oh my god. Now that I believe. I believe that.
Wow.
Persephone in disguise.
All right. So Scheherazade in the game. Before we started explaining this, she is my favorite in the game simply just because of all of her animations, and I really want to know how many animes somebody was watching while they were modeling the Ninja Run. Because I am a sucker for like the arms back, like Ninja Run thing, no matter where it is or what. Like it could be completely out of place and make no sense for it to be there, but it's like, oh, somebody's doing the behind arms Ninja Run. I'm way for it.
Well, it helps you run faster.
It does.
You're
I used to
aerodynamic.
run like this in 8th grade when my backpack was way too heavy and I
Right.
would have to lean forward.
And you were on track team,
Yeah.
and you ran just like
Yeah.
that, and you won all the time.
Yeah, it just cuts through the air.
It makes you more aerodynamic.
Yeah, it's aerodynamic. Exactly. Oh man. But yeah, I guess compared to all the other agents, she's probably the one that plays the most differently. Would you say?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Totally.
Absolutely.
So what kind of for her combat role, what kind of agent is she?
She is the highest risk, highest reward character that we have. Like Red Card kind of veers into risk reward just by nature of his kit with getting vulnerable when you're charging up his harness with his special gadget, but Scheherazade, just in general, is that high risk, high reward because you have to be close to everything to do damage to her, and they can just, they can beat the shit out of you, but likewise, you're absolutely beating the shit out of them when you're playing as her. And we've given her lots of really cool ways to get both in and out of situations where it might be dangerous.
Yeah. With that, I just call some dudes in here.
My blades are still thirsty.
She's also probably one of the most different because she has some extra moves that other characters don't have, yeah?
Yeah, she actually has. She is the everything that nobody else has kind of character in a lot of ways. The one thing that we talked about, right? Let's keep running away from guys here. Is well, if she is going to use her primary attack to be a melee attack, well, what do we do with her melee button?
I knew
And of course, with all the cool gadgetry that Mayhem is able to provide, well, why not do a teleport sword? I mean,
Yeah,
that helps you close the distance, right? Like that's one of the really cool things about her, being able to get in and do that damage. And that's really great. You can do it from the air. You can do it from the ground. I love that ability so much. You just killed everything with one hit. There.
Yeah, it's when you can get her right in somebody's face, it's like their health bar is just gonna melt.
And then still talking about the different things that she can do.
Yeah.
We have bosses in the game, enemies in the game, where you just have to have some sort of ranged attack. And figuring out exactly what those were going to be, that's how we came up with the idea of the children, her throwing knives. And so when you go in to find aim with her, you actually are able to throw ninja stars, so that if there is an enemy where it's like, oh, I need the ability to do something that's ranged, I'm able to do that and still play as my favorite character, Scheherazade, which is everybody's favorite character. We've established that right now. So her ability to actually still do range stuff. Now, they don't do as much damage as somebody with a gun, obviously. We have to do gameplay balance trade-offs. But she still has the ability to affect anything that is at a range. But her main course of action is to get in something's face and slice at it with her sword.
Yeah, it's probably, again, she's probably my favorite character too, just because she feels so different compared to everybody else, and I'm the person who, if there's multiple playable characters in any kind of game, I'm always going to be attracted to the one that's the most, different from the normal core gameplay, I suppose. Yeah, what are her specials like?
So her special ability has to do with throwing knives still. Do we actually want to go into the
let's
menu
actually
and kind of
go into
look
this.
at them?
Yeah.
All right, so gadgets, we have the special, we have the weapon, we have the passive.
wait, let
we
me,
need to actually unlock
Put in the magic command here.
all of these.
And at some point, we need to see how she runs up walls, because that is one of my favorite things she does.
Absolutely. All right. So her special gadget is a throwing knife, and they all have different kinds of utility depending on how you want to kind of spec her out and play as her. The blindside blades, the initial ones you get, those inflict blind on enemies, so they make you harder to hit. Totally makes sense for a ninja type character. Bloodshot blades, those are going to cause damage over time to everybody. My favorite, the black hole blade, is the pinnacle of special gadget existence for Scheherazade. It actually hits a target, and everything around gets hit. And sucked in towards that target. So the idea here is to combo, use the special gadget, use black hole blades, pull everything together, use the teleport sword, and go in and kill all the things.
Yeah, we'll actually switch to that one here, because on top of it just being good for Scheherazade to get in and hit a bunch of dudes, it's also really good for comboing with like a lot of different other agents.
Yes.
Especially if it's any kind of agent that has an AoE special or move. It's
Teleport up there. Yeah! Boom! Take that. Show that
again.
ninja who's boss. Bye.
And again, it's also like, I like her a lot because as long as there's enemies around, I feel like I can zip around the city really fast. Especially if there's snipers, because they're just so far away. And is there a limit to how far away she can throw her sword?
There didn't used to be. We found that we needed to do that.
Yeah.
So yes, there is a limit, but it's a pretty large range that you're able to do the teleporting on.
Yeah. Let's okay, there's one guy. He's gonna come. We should actually call in some more here. Because her mayhem is something that's really good for a lot of enemies, right?
Yeah, with her mayhem ability, you really want a lot of enemies around, especially once you upgrade it with the core crystal that you can, because it puts her into a stealth mode. Her special traversal gadget is to go into stealth. That helps her get out of bad situations, reposition. But when she uses her mayhem ability, she goes into this stealth. Now it breaks when you attack, but you actually get a lot of stacks of empower whenever you kill an enemy while you're in this. And you also build up your mayhem meter for every time you kill, so you're able to kind of just chain everything. Oh, you spawned a pride bot just going off of there.
Yeah.
Somebody's asking what difficulty we are set on.
What difficulty we're set on is it's one of the lower ones at the moment, but I can pump it up.
Okay.
It's the one of the lower difficulties, but also Scheherazade is level 1 at the moment.
I am strong.
Yeah, her mayhem. As long as he can wrangle up enough people. In fact, I'll do it again just
Your
to.
story ends here.
Kind of show how she can just wipe the board. It's great.
Yeah.
And now we're at 3 stacks of empower.
Yeah.
And that's where we're going to stay, but we are going to just keep inside of this. Let's see how bad the pride bot gets it. Oh man, poor
Pretty
pride.
bad.
Poor blast bot.
Yeah.
You're having such
He's
a bad
done.
time. Oh,
Bye-bye.
Again, one of the lower difficulty modes, but
Is that all?
even on higher difficulty modes, if I've been able to really mess some stuff up with her.
when you pair her with somebody that is able to distract enemies, weaken them, give them any sort of vulnerability,
Yeah.
it is an amazing thing to watch. Being able to do that kind of combo where you're playing as Oni and you fear everybody and get them all running around. You pop to her, do her mayhem ability, and everybody's running in terror
Yeah.
and like, oh god, and then you're like slicing them and then teleporting to somebody else and slicing them up. It's so good. Mm-hmm. I'm very excited about talking about her. I'm sorry,
I get it though. Yeah, she's just really great once you get used to like how kind of fragile she is. Sort
Yes.
of. I mean,
She never feels that way to me.
She-
It's interesting.
like I mean, her like if you look, her health and shields are like significantly lower.
Oh, yeah.
Like
They
look
are-
at Yeti's health, you know,
Right.
compared to her. I mean, he's also a huge tank, but yeah, she's what her like shields and health and stuff. How does she compare to someone like Fortune, who's also someone on the lower spectrum?
She's actually the lowest.
The lowest?
The
Okay.
lowest on both health and shields.
oh wow, okay.
And we do a little bit of mitigation with her upgrades and stuff like that, but nothing to punch her up to the point where, I mean, the balancing with Scheherazade is almost completely within how quickly she can die if you put yourself in a very bad situation.
Right.
So she is one of the more advanced characters that we have, especially if you're playing on higher difficulties of the game.
Right, because while she does a lot of damage, she can't really do extra damage to shield or armor, right?
Right.
Yeah, I feel that like that's a pretty good trade-off for how much she can just cut through health normally.
Like putting, so let's
Yeah,
run
run
through
these
her
up
weapon
again.
stuff real quick. Unseen Hand, automatic critical hit when you do attacks from stealth. This is ridiculously stupid when attached to her Mayhem ability, because everything is from stealth at that point. So it's crit hit everything while you're empowered, so it's just extra damage everywhere. Hat trick maneuver whenever you do a full 3-hit combo. I don't know if we've actually been able to see the full 3-hit combo yet.
I mean, I've done it, but by the time the third hit's come around,
everything
people have
is
been
already
dead. So,
dead.
yeah, I'll pump up the difficulty in a sec so you can see that.
So yeah, doing a full 3-hit combo here puts damage over time on the enemy, sort of like a bleed effect, right? And she is able to do some self-healing when she does a kill. So this one actually pairs well with her Mayhem ability. If she's low on health, lets you use the Mayhem ability, go into the battle, slice everything up, get some life back.
And for her passives,
Yeah, passives. The building up her Mayhem faster. If they're debuffed, so this pairs well with something like her blindside blades, blinding enemies, things like that. The dive kick disruptor, I really like. I like doing a lot of stuff with her from the air, so this just pairs nicely with the way that I like to play as her. So they actually knock back disrupt whenever you do a teleport from the air. So use your black hole blade. Get everybody together, leap into the air, do a teleport in, and then everything is together. It does a knockback. Not quite as useful for actually killing things, but it looks really cool.
Yeah.
And then a smoke walker bomb. You just do a lot of extra damage when you do the teleportation jump.
I've been using this one a lot.
Yeah.
And also, if we let's just completely just like level her up.
Boom. Oh man.
Now she can do damage to armor. Now she has that.
Scheherazade, you're gonna have a bad time.
Yeah, now that she's fully upgraded, we can also take a look at her core upgrades here.
Yep. So gains fortify. Like I said, we have some ways to mitigate the amount of damage that she takes just by getting in close. This is one of them, but encourages you to use her teleporting. The next one over, optimal focus, does bonus damage to enemies with full health and shields. So if enemies haven't been hurt or whatever, this one is actually really good paired with, or when like a fight is first starting, or when enemies really haven't noticed you yet. Having this purchased lets you use her as a combat opener, is a good way to put it. And finally, Killing Floor. As I mentioned, this is the one that, with her Mayhem, just lets you keep extending the amount of time that you can keep doing the killies.
The Killies.
The killies.
The official player-facing term
Is killies.
Achilles heel.
I was waiting for somebody to say it.
Yeah. But yeah, that's here. We'll actually. Ryan, you want to play for a bit?
Oh, sure. Yeah,
Yeah, here.
I'll play for a minute.
Let me bump up the difficulty.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. Right now, difficulty set level. The scale is in the console up to 10. So let's say like 7.
Okay.
I was doing 7 earlier, and it's here. If you switch to your other agents, I can level them up as well, so that they're all on equal footing here.
Wow, I have a group that is really good at short range.
And let me level up Daisy too. There you go.
I guess I am pretty awesome.
All right.
All right. Suppose I'll. Oh yeah, her landing animation from like the really long falls.
Let's show that a little bit better.
Yeah,
here.
let's do some of that here. So you worked on Scheherazad's animation, yeah?
Yeah. Well, I didn't do the animation. I did the skinning for her.
Ah, right.
So like set up the rig and well, I mean, she was already set up when I got here. But yes, I got to work on her and make sure she was moving correctly so that the animator could work on her. And the animator did a great job on her, definitely. It was always fun trying to test her because I got to play a little bit more with her, which was always fun.
I love that.
Good land,
It's so
yeah.
good. So
It's
good.
I think it's one of the only characters that does the 3-point hero land. I remember talking on a much earlier AOM stream where they were, one of the animators was speaking about like all the long fall animations. They're like, we really wanted to avoid everybody doing the superhero landing. So I'm glad that she's one of the ones that does have it though, because she's looks really rad with it.
You want to spawn some dudes
Yeah,
for me?
let's spawn in some dudes. What alert level do you want?
Crank it up.
All right,
do
level
it.
5.
All right.
You really need to.
Right on target.
Oh right, yeah, she can cut through the armor now.
Ow. But yeah, like I said, part of playing her right is knowing when you're able to move in.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm 7. It's so far not too bad, I think.
No, I'm doing okay.
Yeah.
Time to drop this asshole.
Then again, I have a lot of practice playing as her.
Yeah. It's. I remember when she was first getting put in the game. I was like the whole time hoping that like at some point, oh, I really want a character that's just like melee focused. Because I play a lot. I play a lot of games that are mostly melee combat. So it's like if there could be one character that really it just goes like, oh, this is Dante from Devil May Cry or something, that would be the character I play forever, and it kind of happened. But I remember early on her 3-hit combo here was animation-wise pretty different.
It actually was. It was
Yeah.
different than what we probably.
I feel the new animation feels a lot more, on top of looking cooler, it also feels a lot more like responsive to you. Because in her previous animation, she would actually like do more of an upward strike and like hang mid-air for a while before like smashing back down, if I remember correctly. But look at this.
Legion never lands.
This one is weak.
We got another question here.
What do you got?
Oh, somebody wants to see Scheherazad's. Well, we'll have to like murder everyone here first. Somebody wants to see Scheherazad's animation for jumping into a car.
All right. You don't have to murder everyone.
I
You
guess
can
it's
if
true.
you wanted.
We can.
Yeah. Bye.
Yeah.
I come from a long line of ninjas.
She's a ninja. She's not a. Doesn't do a lot of drifting.
Thus my tail grows long.
But he shows back up.
Who needs a drive when you can do that sweet ninja run, right?
Resistance is useless.
Oh, you know.
Yeah, I found that attack's actually one of the ones that like I have a hard time avoiding with Scheherazade. That's one of the like things that's actually a little scary.
Hazardous material.
Or with her man ability, she just.
I don't think the difficulty is up that high.
Well, I could also we've also had the training wheel of having Never Die still on.
Okay, that's true.
9.
Never die off and 9. All right.
Yeah.
Hey guy, what's up?
Calling some more dudes. Level 5 again.
Put my money where my mouth is, I guess.
So when you were voicing Scheherazade and all that stuff, how long into it before you were actually able to see gameplay for? Is it the first time you've seen gameplay for, or?
No, but it was almost towards the end of my sessions. There was, I want to say in the last 6 months, maybe, Jeff?
Yeah,
Does that sound familiar? Yeah, so it was really about, being carefully guided and having, Jeff and Larry and our director Amanda be so well versed with the world that they could help me envision it. But there's nothing, the first time I was so giddy the first time they showed me the gameplay. Like it really fully flushes out the vision. You have in your head what you think it's going to be like, and they're describing it to you, but nothing is like seeing the real thing.
Yeah.
She's so amazing and so fluid and fun and way cooler than I am in real life. So that's an unfortunate realization, but still, I love her. Yeah.
Yeah, it must be like, so you've done voice acting for multiple games by this point.
Yeah.
But does it ever get, do you ever get used to seeing like character in a game with your voice?
No,
or
I feel
does it feel new every time because every game is so different?
It does, and I feel like it's a really strange experience also to because you'll flash back to being in the booth, or if a line or two is something you remember.
No.
Oh,
Whoop.
there we go. Back on track.
I almost died, so I got very nervous.
Just hit every button.
That's what you're supposed to do, right?
Yeah.
Another tank trooper.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, one of the things that I love, if I may, like about this game is that Volition was so committed to putting forth powerhouse women, and they were so committed. You guys have been so committed to diversity in this game, which is something that's really near and dear to my heart as a human and an actor. I love that. You've got these 12 agents, and they're all standing side by side, fighting together, and they're from all these different walks of life and all these different, ethnic backgrounds, and then there's these incredibly, powerful, amazing women that take charge and have attitudes and are seemingly fearless, and I think that's so important and relevant, right now. So for me, it was like a really particular honor to play not just a badass female, but to represent, the Middle Eastern female in there, fighting alongside the good guys, and holding her own, and doing it with just her hands and some blades, and I think that's really unique and special, this game, the way you guys committed to that.
Yeah, when I first started working on this game, oh my goodness.
Oh no!
We're losing some agents. But when I first started working here, it was, basically, for the most part, the characters have been decided. That was like 2 years ago or something. But I was also excited to see the diversity in the cast, especially because a lot more games recently.
2 people have died.
Oh boy. A lot more people, or a lot more game developers in the past few years have been, starting to represent more minorities and stuff.
Of course.
I feel like I have not seen very many games yet representing anybody from Middle Eastern descent at all, and that was why I was pumped to see Scheherazade, because it's whoa, what the?
Yeah.
You ever see this, especially for a playable character in the game?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, it's an honor to play her, and it's such an important thing that you guys included that, Yeah. And I know Jeff and I earlier were talking about also just how different and off the wall and unexpected all these different agents are. They're not your average hero characters.
Yeah.
Their personalities are crazy and quirky, and I think that makes it so exciting.
Oh, Ryan, could you like run up the side of a building? I think we need to show off that cool animation.
Absolutely. We'll see if we can actually make it up this way.
A little bit too short. Yeah.
Yep.
I think that building further down the road to your left is short. Yeah. That'll be a good one.
Yeah.
A plant and then the run up.
The plant and then pulling herself, the flip she does over the ledge.
Heck yeah.
Also, I really want to point out the animation for when you just walk off a ledge. It's... that might be a little too high.
You can just drop from there.
Nope.
All right.
How about this building? Maybe.
Yeah, just... I don't know if it happens when you're sprinting, but yeah, just the normal walking off a ledge is great.
Oh yeah, that
The flip.
Yeah, she just like flips off the ledge, and it's just really satisfying to do for some reason that I can't quite like articulate.
And you know, to that end, I feel really compelled to give a shout out to Tomiko Brownlee, who did the motion capture largely for Scheherazade. And I feel like, I think it's really important to mention these incredible physical artists, these motion capture artists, who are the unsung heroes here in video game. I mean, we work our butts off to be authentic and to tell the story, but really we are not badasses in these games without them. And so I think it's, I just want to give her a little shout out too, because she slayed in this role. No pun intended. Pun very intended.
Have you met her?
No, but you know what? I haven't met her personally, but my husband is also in performance capture, and so we are, and he does voiceover and whatnot as well. And so we hang out with a lot of the guys back, and women, guys and girls, I say guys universally here, back in Los Angeles. So some of the other females also who worked on the game, Maggie McDonald and America, right? America worked on the game as well. They're all our girls back home in LA, you know, and they are just powerhouse females in real life, and they just they make the game,
yeah,
you know, and so it's.
Are you trying to curse her?
Maybe. I've been sitting here doing her thing here. One of my favorites is one of her lines is just subtitled as "throat slitting sound."
Oh yeah, I remember that one. Just going.
Oh my god. I tell you, we had some pretty fabulous things to say too. The stuff that comes out of this woman's mouth. She's running around slitting everybody's throats and telling her stories. Oh, we would laugh and laugh in the booth. It was the sessions were so fun because
more
felt everybody's
killing
passion
grounds
for it.
Was there any specific recording sessions that you remember was something?
There is one. This is so ridiculous, but you know, Scheherazade. You guys know like the phrase like, you know, wakey wakey, eggs and bakey, right?
Yes.
So one day I'm in the booth, and this is as like you already know where I'm going with this. We're in the booth, and like, you know, Scheherazade's humor has slowly started to come out, and so she's taunting her opponent in this moment. But what had happened was she got tripped up by her own badassery and couldn't find the rhyme, and so she ends up going, wakey wakey, bloodthirsty, slakely, and she totally loses the rhyme at the end. And it was literally written that way. It was like wakey wakey, comma, bloodthirsty, ellipsis, slaky, and I have not laughed that hard in a session ever. Like us just trying to make that line work. And I love that, you know, she's tough and she tells her stories, and every once in a while she bites herself in the butt, you know, with her own. That one in particular just stands out to me. And so I do say that around the house as well. Wakey wakey.
Oh man.
Here, drop an enemy real quick. I promised that I would talk a little bit of game dev sausage getting made kind of stuff.
You want to just drop one enemy or just like a whole bunch?
Drop an enemy.
Do you want their AI to be passive?
Sure, that'd be fine.
Passive AI enabled.
Sweet.
Boop.
Okay. Well, so one thing with her when I was first starting to prototype her, and we wanted to do this teleport thing where you target somebody and do this. I was trying to figure out, well, how are we going to do this? How is this going to feel? And somebody in chat, I forget who, early on, had mentioned that Scheherazade is actually hardtack. And the funny thing there is this started off as me just completely hacking the way that we do hardtack's teleharpoon.
Wow.
And attaching the character to the teleharpoon and carrying them along with the teleharpoon to just get a feeling for how that worked. And it was something quick and easy to iterate on, just to see, is this how we want to or what we want to do, how is this potentially going to feel. So just a neat little tidbit about how this kind of started.
Yeah, the instant you started that sentence, I was like, oh my god, it's this hardtack's thing in reverse.
Yep.
That's brilliant. I love it. I love it anytime, like, I feel like I've heard a decent amount of stories now for game dev stuff where it's just like, oh yeah, we want to do this cool thing, we didn't know how to do it. But then it turns out there was like this really like stupid sounding thing, but like it totally worked. Mm-hmm. So like, just go with it.
Scheherazade confirmed.
There was that bug we showed for a much earlier stream where when you brought up the screen with all three of your agents on it. For a while, there were models spawning on top of each other. So like Scheherazade was combined with Fortune, I think.
Yep.
To like, and the character design looked kind of cool actually. But man, I wish we could somehow I had like an old build with that bug so happy just to see what happened if it was Scheherazade and
just
hardtack overlap
there.
Yeah.
Everything was Scheherazade.
I'll turn the AI back on.
Cool. Yeah, if I could make any party, it would be Scheherazade, and Scheherazade.
Heck yeah. Triplets.
Yep.
All right, what time? We are at 5:06 actually.
Wow.
Yeah, so I guess we should start wrapping up here and take a look at some bugs before we say goodbye. What was that?
There was also a picture that you're supposed to put on here.
I might have it. We'll take
evolved little round edible things.
Oh no, I don't have that here. Oh no. Well, people watching the stream. Well, you want to explain what it is anyways? Because people watching this on YouTube, this image will be here.
So you have to check YouTube for the image later. So every once in a while, we like to have fun in the sessions, and people bring in different foods for us.
Oh no.
And Sharon one day shows up to the session with this giant plate of cookies, and they're all hand designed with little like sort of Armenian eyes on them and scimitars on them, and it's this giant plate of Scheherazade cookies. And it's funny because you tell the story, you had to explain like what you wanted.
Oh my god! Well, so of course you're under NDA, so it's not like you can explain to a cookie designer, "Hi, so I'm in this game," and so I'm like, "Hi, so I need to place an order for some customized cookies." And this is like a friend who has a business. She's like, "Cool, what do you need?" I'm like, "Well, I need a lot of blades. If you want to incorporate some blood, you can. And eyes. Like an eye, like a thick lined black eyeliner. And she's like, okay. And it was. She was very. So I ended up just having to. She thought I was crazy. I ended up having to like pull images. Just kind of stock photos offline, just to be like something like this. And she did a beautiful job.
Oh, it looked amazing.
That's awesome.
It was so fun to come into the studio too, because we were. I think it was a Friday too, Jeff.
It was a Friday.
We have our like mimosa Fridays over at the studio,
that's right.
and I think I came in with like this giant tray of sugar, and it was our team just completely sugar high and a little tipsy by some certain point, having a blast, and it was like I think it was one of my last sessions.
Mm-hmm. And what was funny is I think you were in the morning and you dropped them off. And we took them over to the other studio where we record.
Yeah.
And we're handing them out, and all of a sudden, there's the actor recording in the booth at the time looks down and goes, "Those are my wife's cookies."
Yeah. by
And that's when we
chance.
first met your husband
Yeah.
and found out, oh my God, he's
Yeah.
from the other studio.
By chance, he was recording a different game, one ADR room over, and he said he just looked up, and I think it was Jess that day was sitting there eating a giant eyeball cookie, and he was like, "I know that cookie. That's a really distinctive cookie." And so that was how our worlds collided that day.
Oh man.
And he completely separate of her confirmed the talking to the knives thing that she
Yeah.
mentioned.
Oh my God,
He's
so
like, oh yeah,
amazing.
she does that in the kitchen.
He's gonna pay for that. I'm like, you know what though? I own it. I do.
You do.
I'm
It's good.
proud to talk to my children in the kitchen. But the truth is, I'm like lacking in grace, and I'm completely clumsy, and I walk into walls and stuff. So every time I pick up those knives and I start doing my little, he's like, put the knives down, or you're gonna hurt yourself and somebody else. Just put them down. Don't touch my knives. So when he's not looking.
So yeah, we've got 2 bugs to show off to wrap this whole thing up. This first one, I mean, they're both pretty good. I'm having a hard. You guys tell me which one you think's better, because I'm having a hard time deciding. But got some got some explosions going on. We
Heck yeah.
stuck the landing.
Yeah. That's
As
not,
she does.
That's not how you guys fall? No?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that it says you are good.
Yeah, that one's pretty good. The second one, Scheherazade just witnesses something. He keeps going too.
Oh my God, that's so hilarious. She's looking at him with some side eye.
What rift did that guy crawl out of?
I mean, he's gonna work out his legs really good.
He's from the
Yeah.
Ministry of
Yeah.
Silly Walks.
Yeah.
It's good thigh
Is that
workout.
one of the ministries?
I think so. I'm dating myself with that reference too.
Oh man. Yeah, only 2 bugs, but they're like really primo ones. Like I think I might like the guy walking out of the car a little better.
Well, the thing to remember here
Uh-huh.
is these are 2 events that actually happened to Scheherazade.
Yeah.
She may talk about them and
Yeah.
you might not believe her, but she's actually telling the truth.
Yeah.
2 more stories, yeah.
You just never know.
Right?
You
know.
don't.
You don't know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to imagine how she would describe this guy walking out of this car like this, but making it sound really mysterious. Because, this is some dude just, trying to work out.
That's a good thigh workout, darling. Thank you, thigh master.
Oh, man.
Oh my God.
But yeah, that's Scheherazade, my personal favorite agent. Just pretty much every aspect I'm way into, and she's my favorite one to play as too. She's just really cool all around. But yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in and watching. We are streaming every week, showing off more AOM stuff until the game's out, which is really soon now. We only have 3 streams left.
Wow.
We still have to show off.
Amazing.
We still have to show off Kingpin and Oni, and then we're gonna have a stream for launch week. So
The rest of the firing squad.
Yeah.
My boys.
They go on a great adventure.
Oh, and our music in the. Have you guys seen the firing squad trailer? That
so
song
good.
is so good. Oh man.
Yeah, the
Right.
music. I was just trying to remember that music. But yeah, that music is pretty good.
It's the hip hop.
Agent
Yeah, yeah,
Mayhem.
yeah.
It's like
Yeah. Oh, it's so good.
That was
Yeah.
great. I remember hearing that one while we were being sent earlier versions of that trailer. And it was oh man. It could be black and just be the song, and
Yeah.
I'd be okay.
Yep.
Yeah, black screen. with the-
Totally.
But yeah, if you want to catch our later streams in the coming weeks, we stream at twitch.tv/dsvolition. We stream every week on Thursdays at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 Pacific. We're going all the way till the game's out, so August 15th,
Awesome.
really soon.
The big day.
Yeah. And also, if you want to see our earlier streams, see what the other agents are like, you can find them on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/VolitionTube. They usually come out about a week after we air. And yeah, if you also want to know, just keep up on stuff, we have our social media accounts. So at AOM The Game on Twitter, AOM The Game on Facebook, and also our website is aomthegame.com. And yeah, I'm Josh Stinson. I'm the video editor here and also the stream host. And today on the couch we've had
Sharon Muthu, Scheherazade,
Ryan McCabe, lead agent designer.
Jeff Bielawski, writer.
Luis Rios, technical animator.
and we've also had Mike Watson, our community developer, hosting the chat, moderating it, talking to people. Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks for sending me questions I miss. And yeah, we'll see you all next week with some Kingpin,
Awesome.
I believe.
Awesome.
So yeah,
Thanks, guys.
see you, everybody.